do this on Mondays, but we wanted to talk a little bit about what we will be doing with our D&D campaign. As you know, my name is Coach Caboose, and with me today I have Matt.
Us
I have
or Eric. Woohoo!
I have BK B4K4.
Hi, people.
I don't know anybody's names anymore. I have Dante,
Yo.
and making her first appearance, we have Tuesday. Okay, so basically, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about our D&D campaign that we have coming up. Matt, do you want to go ahead and take it away?
Well, first I want to go over. Basically, today's talk is going over what we're looking at doing with our own campaign. Is we want to have a campaign made up of our Dragon's Breath Forge group becoming prestige characters, and with that, it's going to be us having more or less a group of us. Nothing's showing. I don't. It's going to be more or less us role playing as a group of adventurers that were once NPCs that we've all held at our hearts as DMs. Some of us have DM'd more, and DMs are more or less our dungeon masters. And what we're going to mainly talk about today is how we all got started as a dungeon master or a player at some point, but we're going to mainly go and say how we are going to go about this game is basically taking our characters that we played as an NPC, which is a non-playable character, and we're wanting to bring them over to this new world that we want you guys to help us help create throughout our stream. So with ideas from you guys, comments, and other stuff, we want to have it multiple. Like, we want you guys to help us run this world. So we want your ideas to help us create this world for our players to interact with. Basically, we're taking them from our lovely level 20 characters, we're bringing them back around for a new adventure in this crazy place and for some fun antics along the way. I know my character Herrick will be having a blast at throwing stuff and pretty much causing chaos. Um, I know Duroc is going to have a blast at this too. Um, we are probably our furthest along with actually our character builds. Um, sorry, I just finished eating dinner, so of
Hmm.
course the burp. Uh, sorry, we're a little bit late on our stream today.
Yeah, it's I think for that kind of speaks for everybody. This week's been kind of busy for just about everybody. Um I've had several appointments because of what I do. I have to travel to do work, and I've been quite busy over the last couple days traveling. Um, and following up on what he said about interacting with us to make it the campaign as fun as possible. Um, we definitely do want to hear your suggestions, and it would be fun to interact with the audience to throw in some antics that you might think of into our game, and maybe at some point, maybe further down the line, we can do like a donation thing where all the proceeds will go to us, um, like a charity, and we can add like if you donate this much, you can get like a magical item or you get a curse or something like that. That would be pretty fun. What don't you say, Matt?
Yeah, that should be kind of neat.
Um, okay, so that's what's going to be going on with our future campaign. I'm totally excited. Um, what kind of classes are you guys thinking about running? Who is going to DM?
So most likely I will end up DMing for the most part. Like I said, I would love to have you guys participate with us as um, our community at large. I would love for your guys' input.
Okay, yeah,
I am
definitely.
having one hell of a feedback. I don't know how I'm doing this.
I I think that as a player, more recently I've been getting into DMing, and I'm out of everybody here. I think I'm kind of me. I think me and Tuesday are kind of the newer ones to DM, or not to DMing, but D&D. Um, I've been playing since late fourth edition. Actually, because of Matt, actually. Um, but
Most of you guys are right there with it.
a majority, yeah. But yeah, we've um, I'm actually interested in trying my hand at different classes than I'm really used to. I usually play like big beefy tank characters, but more recently I've been trying my hand at like magic users. So that's been fun.
Like, I know my first character ever was a ranger, and I know I talked about Blue Ox a couple times, and I want to find out if we can eventually set something up with Blue Ox in our future as a company to do something with them.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Um,
Hmm.
and they're a great local community and stuff. They do. How do I do this? Okay, maybe that might work. I'm sorry. Every time I talk, I have feedback. Could be because I'm helping and watching a thing.
Yeah, you might want to mute.
I muted our stream.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, I had that same
I'm still
issue
learning
earlier.
this. Sorry, guys. um, if you haven't noticed, I am a little bit new to this, so we are still a learning curve for me. Um, Blue Ox got me started. When I first moved down here, I didn't have many friends. Most of the people I knew when I moved to North Carolina would have actually moved away for college. So when I came down here, I thought I would have had a couple of people that I would have been able to know and hang out with, but most of them started their college career and moved away. And there was a place right around the corner, actually, where Speedy Walk, if you guys know where this place is, you probably know where I work or have seen me. Um, and with that, that reminded me I have to message somebody also, which I will do as I talk. Um, this one guy, Kelly, he was originally this original owner of Blue Ox. And he sat me down, and I used to hang out there because he was like, dude, why don't you come on in? We were ordering some food, and he turned around and said, hey, why don't you come on in, check this place out? And I was like, sure. And I said, why not? And he showed me around. He had a ton of little figurines all over the place. And I actually met this dude named Bird. His real name is Matt Bird. So it worked perfect. So, me being Matt, him named Matt Bird, they called him Bird, they called me Matt. I actually became Matt 2.0 in their book because apparently I was not the only Matt in the group. So they said, well, how would you like to join us? And apparently it was originally 2 p.m. And they said, well, why don't you sit down? And I had no clue what I was getting into. But a couple of these guys sat me down and said, well, join us. You'll enjoy it. If you don't, no harm in just saying, why not? One of the guys, and you already know this gentleman, Cooper. Um, he is a fellow Magic the Gathering player. He sat me down and said, why don't you try making a ranger? So after about 10 minutes of my time, he pretty much had a ranger character made up for me. He made all the information written out and handed me a set of dice and said, well, come join us. I originally started in 3.5, and D&D is Mad has been around for quite some time, and its editions are marked quite oddly. And it goes literally 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 4 again, and then 5. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I never understood that whole four thing.
Yeah. Everybody shuns 4th edition. I loved 4th edition. It was the most broke edition there is. Um, that is one of those cliffs I am willing to jump off of. It was one of my most fun times. I spent way too much money on the game at that time. A few $1,000s. I'm not proud. But at the same time, I wouldn't pass it up. I would do it again in a heartbeat. It is how I
Yeah,
made most of my friends. And with that, I would do it again in a heartbeat.
I um I remember when I first met Matt and we went over. We have a mutual friend named Ben, and so that was actually a really good story. I didn't know anything about you know your college friends or anything about that. You never told me about that. That's actually really interesting. My D&D story. Um, when I was I think when I was like 16 or 17, my mom. No, it was eight. I was 18. I used to work at McDonald's and I was working a night job, and our mutual friend Ben got me into initially Magic the Gathering, and didn't know how to play at the time. He said, "Hey, just come by down to Blue Ox." Again, Blue Ox. And he said, "Come play Magic. I'll teach you how to play." And I literally went and we played in a small little tournament. But the only thing I really did was just get the cards and played one game with Ben to learn how to play. And um, he called me like maybe 2 or 3 days later, and he said, "Hey, do you want to come play Dungeons and Dragons?" And I was like, "What's Dungeons and Dragons? I've never heard of that game before." Knowing that knowing that this game has been going on for years, um, he started me off at 4th edition, and I made my first character named Titus, and he was a barbarian minotaur. And one of the funniest story I think I have of my character is that Titus was trying to sneak up a tower, and because I had left the group, and I was just having fun with my character,
It's
and
why we don't split the party.
this did well. No, nothing really bad happened, but the funny part is that you guys are stuck on the bottom landing, and I was like, I'm just gonna go split off from you guys. You guys are taking your time. I'm just gonna go up and do it. So so just imagine like this 7-foot minotaur carrying a giant battle axe, sneaking past these guards because I rolled what was it, a nat 20 or a 18 plus something dex.
Right.
Yeah, and just sneaking past these guards that are lining these stairs, and I thought that was really funny. Uh, you know, um, that's practically my D&D story, but we've been playing ever since, and we have a lot of good times. So yeah, my first class was a barbarian, and my favorite race is Minotaur, and I'm so glad that they added that back to 5th edition, um, because there's just so much you can do with it. Who else wants to go with their D&D story?
Mine's pretty short if you want me to go real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I know a lot of people are going to think that my first time playing was with Matt and Mike, but I actually did play one game at Blue Ox back around July of 2015, right after reading a few books about Dungeons and Dragons. And yeah, my very first roll was a 1, and I accidentally hit one of my teammates.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that was my instruction to the group, because none of them knew me, but they all knew each other. And it became pretty clear that I wasn't going to be fitting in with that group. So it just it was all downhill from that one. That one didn't just ruin my game, it ruined my group experience. It was the ultimate bad luck. I don't think I have those dice anymore. But after that, when I met Matt and Mike, I remember we were talking about y'all's game over Magic again at Blue Ox, of course. And that was the very first time I like really got in depth into a game and like really making my character, because I was rushed to make a character at Blue Ox. And it was just like so much more exciting to me. It reminded me of the things I read about, like the storytelling aspects and all that. And I was just so excited to play. So I believe my first real character was named Metzley.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Metzley. And I miss Metzley. I'm kind of sad now.
I think she was a cleric, right?
Um, you know what? I'm on the site and I think she's still on there. I can check real quick.
Yeah, 'cause
But
that's when D&D Beyond just first started, I believe.
yeah, she was very fun to play. Yeah, she was a half elf cleric of the knowledge domain.
Gotcha. I remember that. I
Um,
remember that exact conversation that we were having, because I think we were doing Ravenloft. Weren't we, Matt?
well,
Believe
this
so.
was Kevin's game.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
because y'all were telling me all about it, and Matt's just like, these are all the guys we play with, and like points to everyone around the table. And I was like, well, would y'all mind if I joined? And yeah, everyone just like shook their head and looked at me like I was joking.
Yeah,
Like, are you serious? We don't
you don't
care.
have you never had to ask. Just
Right.
go ahead. Just show up. Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
show up,
it
we
was
have no
nice that everyone
problem.
was so laid back, because in the other one, it was
Everybody
kind of like
serious.
drama. I think maybe because it was more of a younger group. There was like one girl had a crush on the DM, two people were fighting. It was like nonsense, and it was like way too chaotic and uptight for me. And
Yeah,
finding a laid back group that like wanted to help you build your character and like see you like really tell this story with your character was so much very appreciated.
oh, whoops! I just realized that my stream, I had it on the wrong, thing. Whoops. Anyway, I got that fixed. I got that fixed. Sorry. Um, yeah, but no. Going back to what you were saying. I've also played in one other group other than, actually two other groups other than the one that we've normally been playing with. But yeah, it definitely, if you have a bad group, it can definitely damper your experience. Because I've had that same thing happen to me, and I stopped playing with those people because they were just so serious about everything. Um, and it's horrible because it doesn't matter like if you do well, they're just gonna be mad because you did one thing wrong. And
Yeah, that's all they'll focus on, and it puts you like on edge for the entire time.
yeah, and I mean it the whole game is supposed to be about storytelling and about having fun anyway. I mean, you shouldn't have to be super
On shells.
uptight about it, because
Yeah.
either way, I mean, it's all about having fun. Um, um, all right,
Yeah. It
Can I
should
ask for
definitely
some
be
votes
a
real
game
quick?
of fun.
go for it.
I was gonna say, just like, if you guys like want to vote, I'm actually jumping into a friend's campaign for Horde of the Dragon Queen, and my character is going to know a little bit about the cult, because I'm going to surprise this new group that I'm joining as a surprise character that was taken prisoner. So I know a bit about the cult because they caught me trying to infiltrate them, and I can choose two languages. Which ones would be smart for me to go with?
Draconic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I
Yeah.
get one more.
you're gonna find a lot of draconic.
Well, the question comes down to, are they like, I keep getting mixed up with the Abyssal and Infernal. What's the major difference between those two?
So abyssal is kind of like demons,
Mm-hmm.
and infernal is more devils.
Okay, so
Because sorry,
just
go ahead.
okay. The bigger difference is it's just Infernals,
Like tieflings,
Hellfire,
yeah.
yeah, Hellfire and stuff like that. I'm using, and then demons are more like I don't know, all the other elements.
Yeah, the void, basically. Yeah, the void.
Yeah, I was going to say darkness, but I was like, that's not right.
Cthulhu. Yeah, Cthulhu.
Okay, now that makes more
Yeah,
sense
yeah, that
now.
makes more sense.
That makes more sense now. I now better understand that.
Yeah, so I would do maybe draconic and infernal, because that just seems like, fun.
Well, I
Okay.
say Draconic and Abyssal
Any
because
other
cults
votes?
typically follow the Cthulhu usually, but then again, there's been the Infernal, so it's a 50-50
I mean, not
for the
to,
last one.
but not to
How
metagame.
much of it are you supposed to know?
Yeah, how much are you
Is my
supposed to
You
know?
told me that I know like basically the ins and outs of the cult.
Okay,
So whatever
so
language
you,
they'd be using, I would know.
yeah, so
I'm
you would
trying to
Yeah.
look at
you would
the
know
thing.
At
Draconic.
that point,
Yeah, you would know Draconic.
you would know Draconic. And which cult is it?
The cult of
Is my question.
cult of Tiamat. Because they're trying to
Is
bring
it?
Tiamat
On here
back.
it says the Cult of the Dragon.
Let me look. I think
I'm
it is the
looking at
cult.
Horde of the Dragon Queen right now.
Yeah, then it might be.
No, but that's the question: is which cult? Because there's multiple cults in that.
Oh.
If you guys have not
I
realized
can
by
ask.
now,
I can
we
go
get
back.
sidetracked very, very quickly.
We do. I thought this was gonna be a quick vote, and I completely derailed it. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
It's
you're fine.
It's hey, this is all about what this is. I mean, it's
Hey,
not
no,
that bad.
this finally answered a question I've always had. I didn't know the difference.
This is why we tell you guys, by all means, join us however you want. I don't know.
Yeah. So it looks like it is the cult of the dragon. So yeah,
Mike, did
definitely.
you get a message by chance
For what?
on your Facebook by chance?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Okay, sorry. I was playing around with one of the settings, and it said share this stream to a friend. So I tried sharing the stream to you. I'm sorry. It was a side. I was trying to see if this worked.
No.
Okay. I just want to see if it worked. Apparently it doesn't.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry. Trying to
You're-
see how I can set it to our actual Facebook so we can actually
Oh, you're
do
just
some.
trying to share it to Facebook.
Yeah, I'm trying to do this stuff at the same time.
Oh,
I'm
I
trying to
mean,
get
you
us all set up.
just let us know. Just let me know, and I
Oh,
can go
no,
ahead
you're
and
good.
take care of it. Dual
Oh,
screens.
Confirmed
well,
that yes, it is the Cult of the Dragon.
Yeah, dual screens, baby. I can do whatever.
okay, so if it's the Cult of the Dragon, it should tell you what languages they already speak. So I would just select the two that they speak, if that makes it easier.
Yeah, because that's the Draconic's definitely going to help.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the link that has the information on them. It keeps taking me back to the background info of the actual campaign and not the cult.
Yeah.
Not the key player part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, definitely Draconic is definitely going to be the biggest one. So, I mean, I think you really got your.
Yeah, Draconic is definite. Like what race are you?
I
If you don't
am
mind.
a changeling.
Then
Changeling seems to be
wow.
one of the better races, at least in my opinion.
I still like elephant people.
Oh, the Luxodon.
Yeah. Or not centaurs. What the duck?
Minotaurs.
No, no.
Leonin.
It's the Furbolg.
Oh, Furbolg.
Yeah.
The
What they did is they listed. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
I have a delay. But under the ranks for the cult is where they list the common languages they know, and the higher up your rank, the more languages you know. So most of them just know common and draconic, but the two highest ranks and the like absolute highest rank do know infernal as well.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that makes sense.
Infernal would probably be your best next battle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also like the overall story of the world when it comes to 5th edition is so after the adventurers take down Tiamat, she's sent back to the first to Avernus. Which we actually played through with the Descent into Avernus module. And that was a fun fight. Because she would have killed everybody, but somebody had to step in and help. All right. So does anybody else want to go ahead with their D&D story, like how they got started and what their favorite race is, or whatever?
I can.
Go for it.
Unfortunately, mine is a little different.
Uh-oh.
I got started when I was in the army and was being sent back home due to a medical condition. So instead of going to bed on time like we were supposed to, I literally was up until midnight at least and had been playing since lunch
Oh gosh.
for 3 weeks straight. I learned how to play. My first character was called Trundle.
The troll. Please tell me it was a troll.
No, he was an orc.
Oh man.
Unfortunately for him, Trundle was very, very stupid. Trundle! Nat 20 to one of our players after he was mind controlled. Critted, knocked the guy out. I was like, not my fault. This was a completely homebrew one, and it was kind of just the DM that I was playing with, who was another soldier that was being sent home, had been doing it longer. I started with like not knowing anything. Originally, I was going to do kind of like a shaman joke as a joke. One with lottery was the idea, but they made me play a fighter just so the stats work better. And then when I got back here, I started playing at Blue Ox with the Adventurers Guild. And then that's when I made Draza Plaza, who was a rogue warlock. And that was just for fun, and he was a tiefling too. But as I've played more and more, my favorite race personally is just the Warforge. They're very overpowered, or the Simic Hybrid.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. They've added a lot of really cool new races ever since the PHB, and I'm really
Yeah.
excited to now that the whole Tasha's Cauldron of Everything dropped. You can kind of flush out your character how you want it to. But Warforged are really strong, especially in this edition.
Oh yeah. Well, Warforges were always fun. Come on, not having to breathe, sleep, or any of that other nonsense was always a big plus.
Yeah. In the campaign I'm in with another group of friends, I did have a Warforged, but to make it so I still had to worry about rations and stuff, he made me buy like flask of oil just to keep my parts from rusting up and all that, because Azoth would go and do some dumb stuff because he was built to protect.
That's actually a really good idea, and I would have never thought of that, to be honest with you.
See, I would be that person that would be like, I want to be a tree or forge.
I want to be made out of wood.
Right. Oh god, then could you see having a swarm of termites?
Oh gosh.
Oh no, just firebolt.
But you're a wood or a stone warforge. Once again, completely off topic.
Tuesday, who's your favorite? What's your favorite race in D&D?
Favorite race?
Yeah.
There's something very intriguing about the Aasimar to me.
Yeah, the Aasimar are really cool.
The ones that can like ascend into angels.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Again, mine is Minotaur. I think I know what Matt's is, but I'm gonna let him go.
What's mine? Come on. We're gonna take guesses.
If it's not a human, and I hate being humans in D&D.
I love it. I'm sorry.
Is it
They're
an
awesome,
elf?
but they're not. No,
Dragonborn?
no.
Okay, then I don't know.
All right. Anybody have a guess?
I feel like I need to pull up the race real quick. I'll just say
Aarakocra?
no.
What?
Is
Aarakocra?
that the bird people?
Yeah.
Oh, they added some new races since I've been on here.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the Kenku?
Oh.
I love playing a Kenku. Kenkus
Oh,
are fun.
tell me it's the Tabaxi. You like the cat people, don't you? You gotta
Those
love the
things are
cat people.
awesome. Tabaxi are awesome, but no.
Tiefling.
So I was the closest.
No, they're awesome, but no.
Verdun.
Goliath.
Goliath are awesome, but no. But
Da-
close.
Domfear.
No.
Wait, did you say Goliath was close?
Yes.
Then it would be a
Minotaur?
Minotaur.
What are the blue ones called?
The Furbolg.
Warforged?
Orc.
No, we went over Warforged.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Half orc.
Videlkin.
Nope.
Minotaur?
We're gonna list the whole
Goliath?
thing and I'll get it. I said Goliath. That
Oh,
was one that
okay.
was close. He said Goliath is
Bugbear.
close.
But the complete game with Bugbear was like a hysterical campaign.
Can you at least tell us like what expansion?
Expansion?
Yeah, was it like in Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica? Was it in Acquisitions
That's how they
Incorporated?
separate them on the thing now.
They're in every single expansion.
Oh, okay. So they're one of the
Elves?
original ones. Yeah. Is it elves? It's not elves because I said
And
elves
I already
earlier.
said that.
Dwarfs?
Is it goblins?
No.
Half orc?
No.
Orc.
Halfling?
Ganassi?
You just say nothing?
I didn't say that. No.
Tuesday did. I was like, is it nothing?
Is
Dwarf?
it gnome?
No. No.
Dwarf?
But playing a Pixie was hysterical.
But Pixie's not an available race in 5e.
No, but playing it in 4th edition was great. A Paladin Pixie was phenomenal to play. The most oxymoron character I've ever played.
Okay.
Real quick, is it wisdom or intelligence that would be like better for a bard?
Look at it this way.
Intel, I think.
The person that should know it right off the
Intel.
bat should be the one not talking right now.
I think his mic is messing up.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. Oh. It's always the quiet ones. It's always the quiet ones. Why? Because he has a character in his current campaign that my character goes crazy for.
It's the what's that? The Eldry, the genies, the genasi things.
Yeah. Genasi's.
Genesis are really cool.
The elemental creatures.
Yeah.
Race.
I guess that.
Huh?
I guess that. You said no.
When did you say that?
When I said nothing, I said nothing. Ganassi.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Genasi. My bad.
Oh.
I didn't either, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, my bad.
All right. So
But yeah,
now,
I love it. I love them. They're awesome because, come on. One, at early level, you're one solid element. Two, there's an entire different like spectrum to them where you can actually be a born race where you're a half-breed, which is completely unique, where you can actually be born of both two different races of it, which is really shunned upon. Kind of like a half-elf, or if like an elf had, made a baby with a dwarf. It's like a fire elemental having a baby with a water elemental. Like, congratulations, you have a steam elemental. child, have a nice day. It's like, what the heck happened here?
All right. Say what?
It's like with all nations attack. The last airbender.
All right, Dante, do you want to go ahead and talk about what your D&D story is?
Okay. Well, I got introduced to D&D before I moved uh, moved down here. Looked like it was like 2-3 years ago. I think I can't remember, but it was just like with 2 other friends, and we did it over Discord because we wanted to try D&D, and I made an orc druid, and then my friends made what was it? He had a dwarf. One of my friends had he had a dwarf cleric, and then the other dude made a drow rogue, and we were just going basically off of like half homebrew, half the very first campaign that you can start off with. And I remember because the my friend who was playing the dwarf cleric, he was like, "Okay, I try to do this," and he always get low rolls, so it was always missing. I'm like, "Oh, okay," and I was just like, I'll just do Earth Trigger, and I'll always do my high rolls and then kill all the smaller mobs, and then the rogue would just come in and kill the larger mob. So at one point we were like, okay, we're into this fight, and he had us going against a green dragon.
Oh god.
And I'm like, is this kind of dangerous? I was like, yeah, you might die. Like, are we doing this again? And so the cleric was just basically full on like heal support, and I was just trying to use. All I had was for a single attack was shillelagh, so I'm like, I'll just use my shillelagh. Just use my shillelagh. And we went into like a plot story where the dragon just kind of scoffed at us and started climbing up the tower we were in. I'm like, can I mold earth the spot where you're trying to climb at? Yes. Can I roll for that? And I crit it. I'm like, he falls off, it dies. Like, oh. Okay. So that's how I got introduced before I moved down here and met Matt. And yes,
What's your favorite race?
orc, of course.
Of course. I mean, the picture's an orc. Okay. So, as you know, Dungeons and Dragons is mainly fantasy. What is your favorite magic spell in
Favorite
D&D?
What?
magic spell?
Yeah, magic spell.
Oh, I could have sworn you said bell, and I'm like, what?
I
What
didn't
item
say-
is that?
If I said bell, I mean, my
I
apologies.
thought you were talking about an item or something. I didn't know. I'm like half like trying to create a character over here.
It can be any level.
Oh,
Just
God.
something that you really enjoy casting or using for your characters.
Can I start first?
Go
I
for
got
it.
it.
Go for it.
I love using Gios.
Okay.
It's a very niche, very interesting spell, but it can screw with so many things. Whereas, like, you're about to do this fight, it's like, I'll just use Gios, and then I'll make him pull this lever that will start the machine, and then everything will just be chaos after that because the machine will just uh, start up this conveyor belt that will create this automaton that will just start fighting other things. And it's like you can use Gios to just change the way either a fight works or how a conversation can go. It's like, okay, I'll just use Gios to make him agree to this way. So I just like using Gios just to play with things a bit.
Okay. I have not actually used that spell myself, but there I could see where uses are for it.
Mhm.
I don't really play a lot of um actual magic users, but I have actually been using a lot more. Actually, we just finished a campaign where I was a warlock. Um, and oh my god, warlocks are so powerful. How,
Yeah.
how, how are they? How are they balanced?
Low spell slots.
Low spell slots, but they're a glass cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. All right. Tuesday. What's your favorite spell?
I'm gonna have to think about that for a second
Copy that.
because I started with using magic users, so there's been quite a few I've used, and some have come in very handy at times and basically saved my butt. So I don't know which one to go with.
Gotcha. All right. Matt.
Bound prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation.
Yep. Every spell user should have it.
Yeah, that's agreed.
It's the most useful all-around spell.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's actually a really good one. I'm sorry. I hate names sometimes. Before, go for it,
I love to hate
John.
it.
John.
I love to hate this spell. Heat metal.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
All
That's a
you
really
have to
good.
do, all you have to do is just cast it. There's no save or anything. If you just cast it on their armor, they take the damage, and they have to take their armor off, making them squishier, or they lose the weapon.
I
It's
agree.
really crappy on a Warforged.
Oh yeah.
I had it happen. I was like,
Thirstone. Thirstone.
For me, mine is actually a little different. Mine would be hold on, what is it? Blade of Disaster. It's a 9th level spell, but it takes a bonus action to cast. Um, you can make 2 melee spells with it, and then if it hits, it takes 4d12 force damage, and then you score a critical hit. The d20 roll is 18 or higher, and then it deals an extra 8 d12 force damage, in total of 12 d12 force damage. But here's the kicker: you attack twice with it.
Interesting.
And it's only meant for a sorcerer, warlock, or wizard. Now, if you did that as a warlock, I believe you do. You can get some extra, depending on how you build your character. And actually, sorcerer is the one that you really want to take a look at, because they do have the wild, or not wild magic, but the twinning spell ability. So if you have it as a twinning spell, it's cast twice, which is nuts.
Gotcha.
Um, but that is actually it was only introduced in Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden, which apparently you're gonna need it, because um, that module is actually pretty hard, especially because of the enemies that are up there in the frozen north, and especially against the final boss. But it is not like Asarak or Azrael. Um, Azrael, at least you could kind of take if you decided to fight her. Tiamat, compared to when the module was made, it's not that challenging anymore, at least in my opinion. Um, Strahd, he's a joke. He's a joke. He's a joke now. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's a joke.
Wow.
But if you if you use Blade of Disaster, that's with twinning spell. That's nuts. But yeah, that's my favorite spell. There's a lot of really good spells though in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has.
There was one called Catnap. That's funny to me.
Is there one?
There's a spell called Catnap.
Oh, that's funny. What's that for?
What's it do?
Well, yeah. What does it do? But what is it for? Like what?
What for?
Class.
Oh, I'm in Bard right now.
Oh, Bard.
I'm choosing spells. Yeah. It says you make a calming gesture and up to 3 willing creatures of your choice that you can see within range fall unconscious for the spell's duration.
Oh,
It
funny.
only ends early if they take damage.
Or
someone uses an action to shake or slap it awake.
That is really funny. So is that your favorite one, or is that just one that you found funny?
I just found that funny. I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite one. Like you said, there's just so many. See, I need to play like a ranger or something that does something with animals, because I want all the animal spells like in real life. I want to be the animal whisperer. We'll take over the world together. I like the like psychological ones, the ones where you can mess with people to get in their heads. I like those, and I kind of like the necromancy spells.
Yeah, the necromancy spells are pretty strong. I remember when I tried to play a necromancer wizard. It's hard. It's hard very early on to the game, because they didn't have a lot of necromancy spells in first or second level spell slots. Okay. Here's another one. Favorite magic item. There's a lot of them. There's actually over 37 pages in the in total for magic items in this game. I mean, there are some very, very famous ones.
Let me look at something. There's
Sun Sword, Vorpal Blade, robes of the robes of the Arch Magi, Armor of Invulnerability, Azure Edge. I think for me, specifically is if I'm playing a fighter type. Obviously it would be one of the belts, but that's actually like my favorite magic item is not actually any of the like armor pieces or weapons. Mine is something that you just randomly come across, and it determines your luck to sway the game. I'm sure what we know.
It's the deck, isn't it?
The deck of many things. Is actually my favorite magic item in the game. If you can find a full deck, you can have some fun.
I actually in the campaign I'm running now, I have one of my characters have a deck of several things.
Oh,
and they've drawn from it 3 times already, and yeah.
how'd that work out for you?
One of them is now being hunted down by a demon lord.
Of course.
And another one that they had an NPC draw one, and they got they pulled out the death card, so that one's out for them.
Well, that's good.
And I think it was John and Matt. They each drew one. John drew the one with, wasn't it the? No, it wasn't. It wasn't John. It was the one that was holding. And yeah, Percival and Matt's character Tim. Percival drew the one that gave him a permanent.
Barman's having none of this.
Yeah, he was like, nope.
I'm out.
Percival drew the one that gave him a permanent skill, like a feat, and then Tim drew the one that gave him a magic item.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think that's 5 cards. So they have like, I want to say 15 or 16 left. So
They have some bad ones to go through.
yeah, there's still some bad ones in there.
The reason why I say the deck is like one of my favorite ones is because in the last campaign that we played with my other group, we found the deck, and 2 people, actually there was only 3 of us in the party at the time while we were playing, but then a 4th person was there, but they had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the chance to pick how many cards we wanted to draw. So with Discord's help, he shuffled the deck in front of us, and when he picked it, one person just dropped dead immediately. One person's soul got sucked out.
Oh.
And I decided that I wanted to be really ballsy and draw 5 cards.
Oh God! Why?
I drew 5 cards. I was I don't remember what player I was using. I think I was a warlock, a tiefling warlock of and I drew the death card. Where the avatar of death appeared, and he had to fight me. And guess what? I kicked his butt. I kicked his butt. And so I defeated death itself. I then got 3 wishes from a god, and I spent 2 of them to revive the players and bring them back. And then I got a wondrous legendary magic item, which I chose the Robes of the Archmagi.
Nice.
And then I got a 4th level fighter to help fight for me. He was dead the next session. And then I had to talk with the Fates after that.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the deck is kind of, it's like one of the things that like it can really sway.
Yeah.
It can really sway your game, and
You draw a card and hold your breath.
Yeah, you draw the card, hold your breath, and hope you don't drop dead. Because that's exactly what can happen. And it just adds the suspense, and it's just fun for me to have that in my game.
Yeah.
Matt, what is your favorite magic item?
I think he had to BRB for a bit. So, John, what's yours?
I have barely touched any of the magical items. So far, just glancing through everything, since I typically like playing rogues, and I like to be sneaky as possible, I saw the Infiltrator's Key.
Is that
and
like
I
a
just like,
skeleton key?
Yeah, once you're attuned, you get, I think when using the key, you are considered proficient in Thieves' Tool and have advantage on ability checks to open locks. On top of that, you have advantage on stealth checks, so you can move silently.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. But you just got to
help you.
hold on to the key and make sure no one else steals it.
Yeah. That's definitely really helpful if you have a rogue.
Well, even if you're not a rogue, you actually have. It doesn't matter for them. It's just if you have the key, you get proficiency with the Thieves' Tool.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But it's only for opening locks. So.
Yeah, I mean that's realistically what you're going to be doing with these tools anyway.
True.
Yeah. It is nice though. Like having that is really nice.
And it's a lot lighter.
Oh yeah,
It's a quick question, real quick.
sure.
If I'm gonna have spells that have a lot of like say someone has to make a saving throw and most of them are wisdom, would it be better for me to have a higher wisdom or intelligence? Because wouldn't my wisdom be what they have to roll higher then?
It would be
Mm-mm.
it would be your spell casting modifier. So that would be your for you it would be a charisma.
Oh, okay.
So the higher.
I can't decide. I have a 16 and a 14, and one needs to go in intelligence, one needs to go in wisdom.
So
And I know I'm in lore, so that seems like intel, but everything else kind of seems like wisdom.
I mean,
Um.
realistically, I think that wisdom would be better.
Yeah,
You do?
for the infiltration and the insight, so you know
Yeah.
if they're telling the truth, or you can see everything around you passively better.
Yeah, that's what I
While
would do.
the only thing that you can get for with intelligent would be your investigation. But since you have been infiltrating, it kind of works that way too. But if you want to get multiple stats, I'd recommend going with the wisdom.
That makes sense. I just wasn't sure. I was talking to the guy who's going to be my new DM, and he's like, you know, usually wisdom saving throws and skill checks are slightly more common than intelligence based ones. But as a lore bard, I'm going to be a skill monkey. So I might want to specialize in intelligence based checks, but it was entirely up to me. But yeah, I think I agree with that general statement. So we'll go with the 16 in wisdom and the 14 intelligence.
Well, yeah, I also agree with that because it's wisdom is affecting more stats than just an investigation.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
You know, I have a hard time recalling like if it's like
too.
affected one or if it's like a general one.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's like a general coverall rule or if it's like just for certain like classes or races or things.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like knowing the stats offhand and exactly what's actually affecting them.
Yeah.
It's a little different because you can only remember so much, especially with a game that like has so much added to it. Yeah, so Tuesday, what is your favorite magic item that you've either used or you've heard about?
I use that many?
Well, we've actually
I
got
don't think I have.
we've actually gotten a
We've
few.
had some special ones, but I feel like they were kind of modified.
Yeah, probably.
Mainly the ones that I've gotten my hands on anyway. Had some DM modifications, so they weren't like straight out of the book. Oh, what was that one helmet I had? The one that lets you like read minds.
Isn't that just the helm of mind control or something?
I don't know. Probably. But I think I like that one because that was it. I think it let me talk to a giant once.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of interesting because we didn't even know we were on a giant until I like heard it because I was wearing the helmet.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I think I'll go with that because that was a very interesting session.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. I'm trying to look for it actually.
It might just be like helm instead of helmet.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm doing right now. Helmet telepathy. Oh, was that the detect thoughts one?
I believe so.
Yeah, helmet telepathy.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's just hard to get like really good magic items, especially if it's a pre-made adventure. But realistically, everybody can just, especially if they're an artificer, can get magic items. I actually really do enjoy running the pre-gen modules myself. With that being said, have you guys actually
Never
run?
did a lot
What happened?
of magic items. I never used a lot of magic items.
Oh, but what's your favorite one that you have used or that you've heard of?
Like that I've heard of.
Yeah,
Like,
like
I've heard
where.
of a lot.
Well, I know you have.
Like in terms, the old school best one to have has always been and always will be Bag of Holding.
Well, I mean that's kind of a given, but it's not like a super duper like
You got to go oldie but goodies. That
yeah
alchemist jar,
yeah alchemy jug.
like the alchemist like jug, is awesome because you have fresh water.
Yeah.
Which, if you're in a campaign that you have to ration and stuff like that, and keep up with all those information, that is definitely something to have in your corner. You know,
Um. Yeah. Actually, I I've never used it. I found it once, and I just never have used it.
good fault. Drink your water and die.
Well, normally we don't really pay attention to that because it's not like I've run homebrew, or not that I've been in a homebrew where it actually mattered. Um, but my favorite type of games is where that actually does matter because it makes you think a little bit more. Um, Speaking of campaigns, and what I was talking about pre-run modules, do you guys have like a favorite pre-gen module that Wizards has come out with? Because
Ron.
I have a couple.
Hmm. Mine hands down is Eberron.
Eberron.
Like that entire world itself is just
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Yeah, Eberron is pretty cool. But that's more of a campaign setting book, not a
But
like
it's the
an
most
adventure.
high tech world. And there is an entire adventure setting for it.
Is it Rockma? I think that's the one that
They
came
have
out with
like
it.
two or three.
Yeah, actually, I think it also might be Lost Laboratory at Quillesh or the Infernal Machine rebuild.
I don't,
There's a couple of them that I think came out with it.
yeah, like few of them came out with it, but you can pretty much input most of them because Everon is basically a time period,
Yeah.
more or less. It's when they figured out how to harness most of their magic, which is pretty much awesome.
Um, for me, this is gonna sound really weird, but for me, I have three favorite ones. Mine is um the first one is Tomb of Annihilation. I really do enjoy the Tomb of Annihilation. Um, it makes you think. It makes you be careful. Makes you just really pay attention to the world around you, especially when it comes to the diseases. And I love the meat grinder mode.
Grinder
Um,
mode could be broken down into almost anything.
yeah, it can, but with this one, it's a little bit more punishing because if you really are invested into a character that you started like session one, and you're like literally at the boss at Asarak, and
Right.
you die, there's no bringing you back. You die.
True.
Um, my second favorite one is actually Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I really do like DMing that one actually. I DM'd that one. I have not played that one as a
Which
player.
one?
Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Yeah.
Because that one actually goes back a few years. Um, and then my third favorite one is Tales of the Yawning Portal. As a newer player, it's actually really cool to experience some of the older, more famous campaigns, especially the most infamous one, and that's the Tomb of Horrors. I've tried running it when I was a fresh DM, thinking I had it, thinking I had all my ducks in a row, and it just went off the rails. I had no idea what I was doing, and it's hard. It's really hard. Like once you lose that, it's hard, especially in that, because you could think of something that they're going to do something, and this is with every DM, especially if you're a new one. Um, just make sure you're aware of what your players can do and be prepared for them to go off course. Because that has happened, especially with our group.
Basically, if you're a DM, expect to have your entire campaign thrown to the sidelines.
Yeah.
Like, hands down. Like, expect your group. Like, expect your group to definitely like veer completely off stream. Like, if you plan A, expect B, C, D, all the way up to Q, and don't get upset if they're not completely doing what you want. And that's the best thing I can explain to any DM. If you're starting out, I understand you guys might spend hours prepping, and if you're easily scared of that idea, I'm sorry. It's going to be the hardest thing you guys are going to have to get over as a brand new DM.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in
Yeah.
a minute. We'll give you guys some tips, especially if you are new to DMing. We'll throw you some tips. We'll tell you what to expect if you are a new DM. But continuing on, John, what is your favorite pre-gen or Wizards campaign?
I've pretty much only done homebrews.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll definitely have to throw you through some one of them at least.
The only ones I've started but never finished was Tomb of Horrors and the Mad Mage, but never got to finish them.
Mm-hmm.
We just got another follower.
Oh, we did.
J Maula 21. I'd like to give a shout out to him. He should be a gentleman we just met through Walmart. If I'm correct, I'm assuming the person I know.
Is that on your channel?
Yes.
Nice. Welcome. Make sure you go.
I'm currently working to set up more stuff on my page as we do this. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted, guys. I know I'm currently not chatting. I'm currently flipping back and forth through stuff I know should be on one of these accounts and stuff. Counts and stuff. Counts and stuff.
Oops. Okay. Dante.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you and I have played in some sessions with a pre-gen campaign.
Yeah, we never finished it though.
That's true. We have never finished one.
Yeah.
Just say that is one of the hardest things to ever do is finish a pre-made.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have to say that if you start to lose interest, it is hard to come back.
Yeah.
And
scheduling. Scheduling's the hardest.
Yeah, scheduling is also the hardest. Tuesday, I know that pretty much that we've all, except for maybe the last group that you were in, and you're getting ready to run into Horde of the Dragon Queen.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite pre-gen campaigns that you're that you really enjoy?
Off the top of my head, there's not a particular one that's really coming to mind.
Gotcha.
I know there's one I don't like though because You always go into the room and it's happened to me twice in the same campaign. I can't remember which one it is though, but you probably remember because I think you saw me do it twice. But I always open the chest and it has like that fire blast spell in it, and I take damage from it.
Yeah.
I've played that twice, and both times I've done the same thing, and I'm just like, I never learn.
Wait, what's better is when you've played, and this has happened to me, when you played the same campaign twice, with two different groups on two back-to-back weekends, and you walk into two gelatinous cubes. And I mean, literally,
Really?
just walk. Yeah, I've done that.
Like in the same area?
Yeah, same area. I don't learn.
Aren't you supposed to learn from your mistake? Well, if it's two different characters, that is a little bit funny.
Yeah, it was two different characters. It was literally two different characters. I want to talk.
A few people will hear definitely us talk about metagaming. Metagaming is taking outside knowledge and bringing it into a character in game, and that is something that is very frowned upon by most gamer status. It's like buying.
They're asking me how much I knew about the cult.
Right. Like that is one of those things that really throws off.
It can ruin the fun.
Yeah, it really ruins a lot of people's funds.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit after this. You can go ahead.
No, you're fine.
When it comes to pre-gen, I want to talk a little bit about so like my top like 5 pre-gens. Obviously, I listed 3 of them that like my personal favorite. But I found an article talking about the top 5 pre-gen wizards campaigns. Obviously, number 1 is Rime of the Frost Maiden, because it's kind of like a re-release of like one of the most favorite ones. Tomb of Annihilation is 2. Storm King's Thunder is 3, which I thought that would be a little higher. The entire Horde of the Dragon Queen campaign, that's including Rise of Tiamat, because that's kind of like a back-to-back module. And then, of course, Curse of Strahd. Ravenloft is way overdone, in my opinion. I do like some of the like the missions in it, but like I don't understand why people don't really like Out of the Abyss or Princes of the Apocalypse. I really like those modules. I mean, I've only played Princes of the Apocalypse once, and that was with a previous group. Out of the Abyss, that one's really fun. I actually really like the beginning of that one, where you're actually stuck in the Underdark. And you literally fight against demons and drow and the dryads and all that kind of stuff, like stuff you would normally find in the Underdark. Baldur's Gate's really fun, going into the plane of Avernus. I really wish we would do more of that. Ghost of Saltmarsh was pretty cool because it gives you boats. And then the Waterdeep campaign setting, the Dragon Heist and Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Really liked running that one personally. I really like the mystery of the whole dragon heist and how you can pull it off and all that kind of stuff. And then you meet Volo from Volo's Guide to Everything, or Volo's you've got Volo's Guide to Monsters, and apparently he was supposed to write a second book, and it hasn't released yet. In the entire campaign, because it was supposed to be a source book for wizards, and it hasn't come out yet. It's supposed to be Volo's Guide to Spirits.
Interesting.
But now the spirits thing has been into Mordekainen's fiendish Tomb of Foes. So,
gotcha.
And then the Dungeon of Mad Mage obviously is a more famous one. When it comes to like campaign settings, though, I think my personal favorite is Mythic Odysseys of Theros. I really do like the whole mythological side to it. I think that's my personal favorite. But like, I'm just really upset. Like more people don't talk about like Storm King's Thunder or Out of the Abyss or Princess of the Apocalypse. I really like those. Actually, my first 2 campaign books that I bought was Princess of the Apocalypse, Out of the Abyss. Thank you, Matt, for that obsession.
Still not close to mine.
Nope. I'm actually going to be running a Tomb of Annihilation campaign here in maybe another month, I think, for my second campaign.
Nice.
So let's go into tips. Tips for DMs and players.
All right.
Okay, so this is gonna be our bread and butter.
So we want you guys to know right off the bat. Ask whatever questions you might have. Hands down, we are here for you for any type of questions you might have. You can ask us here in a chat. You can come and find us on our Facebook page. I will get that up in our. I should have it as a link by now. I should have it up in our group information by the end of this video on our stream system. It'll be under all of our profiles. I should hopefully figure that out. Even on that one, still, come ask us if you have any questions on DMing your own campaign. But any which way, DMs need to stick together. DMing is a dungeon master, or you have your GM, which is your game master. Either way you want to call it, we're not just people sitting around in a giant wizard hat in our basements anymore. We've kind of gotten out of that stereotype, but don't get me wrong, you still have some of us that do like the dress up and stuff like that, which, don't get me wrong, one of our goals will be eventually to have our players eventually, once this whole COVID thing blows over, to eventually have us go maybe as a group to a con as our players if we enjoy our characters enough. That would be a nice little fun little experiment for us as a group. I don't know how that'll work out, but you never know. But going into topic, DM tips. Dungeon Masters, all of you need to know the best laid plans never work. Like I said earlier, no matter what you plan, always be up there for something to go wrong. And I'm not saying it just in this concept of, oh, I want my adventurers to take route A. By all means, you can railroad them into a path that you choose. Yes, by all means, you can do that. Do I recommend doing it? Not always. By all means, no matter what path you lead them down or they decide to take, you could just have them end up at the same location. So if your group decides to say, oh, well, I'm supposed to be taking the path south to Grendel's hideout, right? And they decided to go east. Oh, well, congratulations, your group has now just wandered the complete wrong direction. Don't just be like, oh, well, you can't do that. That's the fastest way to make any group of players just like completely not enjoy the game. And it's not just you're not having fun, they're not going to have fun doing that. I understand it's an open world game. By all means, you can ask the players kindly saying, hey, I have an idea. I'm going to put quests in front of you, and I want you guys to take these as an adventuring group. I want this to be a little bit more serious. And most of your players are going to be a little bit more kind and courteous. The whole purpose of you being a DM is to be a storyteller. and to have fun.
Another
I
thing
saw
I'd
you
like,
shaking. I saw the
yeah,
shake.
another thing I'd like to add, when it comes to DMing, don't be afraid to give your players hints if they're not kind of getting the thing that you're trying to broadcast to your players. Like, um, for instance, try to set up a timer if you're trying to make it like a puzzle that they need to solve quickly, like a player is stuck in quicksand, or they're stuck in some water and they're sinking because of the weight of their armor. Set a timer. Make them think. Make them think how to get out of this situation. Um, a good example for this is in the pre-gen Wizards module, the Dragon Keep heist or Dragon heist, for Waterdeep. At one point, something happens and guards are coming, and you have to figure out what happened. So you literally set a timer for 5 minutes. Make them ask questions to the citizens who witnessed it. You and investigate. Make them think. Another thing I like to add is, as a DM, um, don't be afraid to ask for help from other players, or not players, but from other DMs that you know who are more experienced. I've done that plenty. Matt can attest to that. I've had plenty of questions when it goes to, how do I set this up? How do I do this? How do I do that? And people are there to help, especially if you need it. Especially if he or she is one of your players. Pull them aside. Be like, okay, out of game, can you tell me something? Can you tell me how to do this? Because sometimes if you're new to doing it, sometimes these things you just don't know. And sometimes it just comes around. You don't want to sound like an inexperienced DM, but I mean, it's your first time. No one's expecting you to be perfect.
And this happens even if you are a DM for years.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of you that have DM'd might have one of those players in your group that you have been friends with for years. Don't feel afraid to ask them what they thought of that game, or what they thought of what was going on at the end of that session. Find out how they're doing.
Another thing is, accept player death. If for example, in my last campaign, in Descent of Avernus, I had a character who stepped out of cover and got disintegrated by a beholder. Literally,
Oh
it was,
no.
yeah, it was funny. Uh, he was at like 10 health, and he stepped out of cover, and the beholder saw him, and he got disintegrated. I felt so bad because it was my first player death in one of my campaigns. I pulled him aside after. I was like, "Hey, look, I'm really sorry. It's just because of that because you got spotted. Um, it was nothing to do with you know anything.
Your character
It wasn't anything for me, like that I could do. It's not like I didn't like his character or anything. It's because he literally got spotted. So there's nothing I could have really done. But he was like, "No, dude, you don't have to worry about it. I completely understand. It was something, you know, I obviously got spotted and my character got killed. Um, but don't feel bad. Sometimes that happens. Um, just talk to them after the game and talk to them after the game. See and think or talk to them about what they're thinking about for another character. Um,
If they would like to try to come up with
if
another character.
Yeah, and make sure that they choose a different character other than the one that they're gonna do. So like Willem 2. Don't do like Willem 2 and it's literally the same character, same stats, same armor and all that kind of stuff. Because that just gets boring and it's
Vengeance, and I wish to kill every
yeah.
beholder.
Yeah. Um Another thing that um I would kind of take advantage of as a DM is you can hear what the players are thinking. Um Make notes about like where they're moving to. how much they're like thinking about doing stuff. So like they're buying, make sure that you come up with some number. Like if they're in a town that's in the woods, item prices are going to be higher. So because the items are a little bit more rare. So like long swords, all that kind of stuff are going to be probably jacked up by double price. So take a advantage of trying to think about your environment in your world. Especially if you're doing homebrew. Yeah, take advantage of that and make sure that you're taking notes of character backstories in case you want to incorporate that into your world as well.
Definitely, in terms of that, don't forget, it's one of those things, if you do have a player that dies, there's tons of things that can bring them back. You can bring them if you manage to get into a cleric in town, if they didn't get disintegrated. If they got petrified, local clerics. It might cost them a nice small fortune, or if they team up, they might have to do the cleric a favor, or stuff like that. They can have those things in towns and stuff like that. It could definitely be one of those scenarios where there's ways to get rid of those fatalities in game. There's always a way around a player's death at certain concepts.
Yeah,
Um,
just make sure that whenever you're doing that though, you make note of that.
yeah,
Because if they don't have the gold, then they obviously need to do something. So or you need to find a way to bring that character back by like maybe a god, like a divine intervention, if they were some like a cleric or something like that. Maybe
right.
they maybe they can pray to their god um to have them be brought
Yeah,
back
if you
as
have it,
like a
by all means. D&D has tons of different deities.
oh yeah, a ton.
We, we're not going to take this as a religious thing. We're just stating it has a bunch of different belief systems. I'm just stating this. This is a game. We're not taking religious
Um
ploys.
all right. I think that's really all we can really do when it
Say
comes
in
to
terms of
D
player
and
death.
D, yeah, or the player death, and kind of like DM tips. Because I
DM
think we've
tips.
covered it.
That's probably like the best way to say it would be have fun, check up with your players, see what they like, what they don't like, see if they have any ideas or something that they might want to accomplish. That might be something that you can work with them. Look at their backstories if they have made backstories for the characters. Try to work that into their story. Unless you're running a modular campaign where it's already pre-written, they will have stuff that is written out for you. Perfect example, Tim, one of my characters for Drock's campaign. He is pretty much really unstable,
Hmm.
for lack of a better term. He has been around for way too long, and he does not think before he leaps, for the best way of speaking.
He really
Um,
doesn't.
no. But at the same scenario, he will step in front of a bullet for a person because he doesn't care. He's like, oh, wait, I'll take the shot. Wait, what? It's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Um, Now for player tips, but I know that me and Matt have talked for a while. Does anybody else have any tips, especially if they're players?
Player tips?
Yeah, like
If you're playing.
if you're playing, yeah.
Um, oh, for me, if you're like
I found something.
me and like to do a lot of storytelling with all your characters, I usually go with, if you want to have a good backstory for them, first think about what are their what's their purpose of being in this campaign for? What is their motivation? I usually think on that first and then move backwards. If their motivation was this, like if their motivation was they have to, let's take a standard, find revenge. What do they find a revenge for? Is that someone killed their family? Um, they lost a precious heirloom that was stolen from them, or their home was destroyed, something like that. Or it could just be like a just like a joke character, like a petty revenge thing. Like this dude looked at me the wrong way, and now I just want to destroy him because your character is like chaotic evil. Um, for me, that always helped me make backstories for my characters. That's
When it comes to being as a player, take notes of people that you meet in the world, um, people of good importance or objectives that you're trying to do. Um, it would be a really good idea to do that because sometimes you'll forget exactly what you're trying to do or who you're really trying to look for. For example, the last campaign I'm doing, the one I'm in now, we were supposed to look for a dwarf. Apparently, we found the dwarf, and I accidentally killed said dwarf. Um, so yeah, that wasn't nice. Completely forgot that that was the person who I was supposed to be talking to, and it didn't turn out well for the quest giver. Another thing is take good notes about your gold and your income. Um, Sometimes if you just miss maybe 1 or 2 gold, I understand that that happens. But if you have like if you're not writing anything down, that's something to be talked about. Because if you're getting like 300 or 400 gold for a quest, and you're trying to buy like more ammunition, if you're trying to do that type of playthrough where you're keeping up with your ammunition and you need like 300 or 400 gold, well, you're missing it. And I've had that happen in my campaigns. Normally, we don't really worry about ammunition because I know that that's a thing. Um, I assume like at the end of
You
combat,
have
you're
some that do, some that don't. It depends on your DM for a lot of those things.
yeah. I assume, but like if you're trying to shoot like an arrow into like a hobgoblin or something, I assume like at the end of combat, you're gonna go retrieve your arrows and that they're of good make. Um, Another thing I would think of doing, I I agree with Dante though because writing your backstory, talk to your DM, especially about what you can do with your backstory, how to incorporate that into the story if they want to. Um, See what drives your character and stick to the mindset of your character. Don't try to wander off into like if you're a super serious bounty hunter, don't try to go into like some super silly like cat burglar.
At
I
the
mean,
same time, don't be so super serious that you're making it unfun for
yeah,
everybody else at the table.
yeah. I mean, it's okay to let loose once in a while, and and to do some funny stuff, especially in combat or talking to a NPC. But just don't be super serious all the time. I mean, there are times like when you're trying to meet like like let's say you're making meeting your contact. Yeah, that's when you would need to be serious. But like if you're talking to like a barkeep, yeah, I'll take ale for the house. Try to have some fun with it. Um, I know that especially in taverns, you know, try to make up a game with cards, especially if you have them laying around in your house. Try to have some fun with cards. Do something. I mean, it would be really fun. And of
Right.
course, this is a fantasy game. They have different terms for cards, but I mean, everything can be translated
All
to
means,
real
make
world.
stuff up.
Yeah.
There's nothing against you making something up.
Does anybody else have player tips that they probably want to expand on?
Not really.
All right. So we've been going for about an hour and a half. I think we pretty much covered everything that we wanted to talk about tonight. So the way that I'm going to do this video is, if you missed anything today, please, if you're watching us live though, please go ahead and follow us on our respective Twitch accounts, or you can follow us on all of our accounts. It would certainly help. We eventually wanted to try to do donations to hospitals, local children's hospitals. Maybe you can we can do a donation goal for some of these children's hospitals where they truly do need it, and you can if you donate so much that we can, add some funny stuff to our campaign, and most of our campaign will be live streamed. A majority of
Yeah.
a majority of our campaign will be live streamed.
Yeah.
We just got to figure the technical aspect on it, and we'll do
And
some more research on that.
depending on what you guys donate, by all means, our group will be more than willing to come up with something to give you guys out. As you guys saw in one of our earlier ones, probably when we go and share John's original one, we had a few things that we're going to be making, and seeing we're talking about D&D, we had a flask that I'm going to be making a signature drink from the a D&D inspired drink for most of us. It's called Dragon's. It's called. I can't. It's going to be a Dragon's Breath Forge original. It's called Twerk's Piss, and it's basically one of those creatures in the world that are pretty much unstoppable.
It's a Tarask.
Crap, I can't talk tonight. I'm sorry. It's going to be one of those days. I do apologize for the language on that one, but at the same time is we'll be making some of those kind of things like that. By all means, we do have some of those kind of ideas. You might not receive something like that, but because there's a lot of age restrictions for something like that, but something where we do have a few artists in our group. We do have a few other people that are supporting us and that are looking at helping and joining us and looking straight out remotely at coming and viewing us as a company and stuff like that. So we want to look into helping them out, and we want to try to keep everything local.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, depending on what you donate, we might even reach back out to you guys and send you a message back through our Facebook or even through our business account and try to reach out to you and try to send you back something as a reward for what you send to us. It might not be something big at first or even something massive. So keep that in mind. We want to show our way of saying thanks to you, even if it might be an idea of having you join us on a stream one night to just say, hey, check us out. You're going to be joining us and having you stream with us, showing our actual, like, hey, they're going to be our DM for tonight, or they're going to be a guest one-shot character. There's things called one-shots, where basically you run up a campaign for one episode.
Yeah.
we will be more than willing to make characters for a one shot.
And also along with that note is if you try to, or if you follow my stream on Twitch, I am obviously part of the Dragon's Breath Forge streaming crew. So follow me for any more streams. We'll be doing the podcast normally Monday nights. Today was kind of just a will of the, we just decided to go ahead and talk about D&D and stuff. But tune in on Monday night around 7:30, 8 o'clock. I believe that's when we decided around that.
I think I put that up as far as schedule.
Okay.
I put on my page, I tried setting up schedules, reoccurring Mondays at 7 to 7:30. It doesn't give us 30s, it gives us straight hours.
Yeah.
So just chat, and it's going to be an open chat from anybody in our crew can pop in and out. Fridays is going to try to be our D&D chat nights, whether it's going to be a campaign going on or it's going to be a chat like tonight, where it's basically us talking about some DM stuff. I know I have a couple of books and stuff like that. We want to try to help make you guys better DMs, better players, better storytellers, or even just have some goofy commentary about D&D.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that brought most of us together. Along with that, there will be a couple of other stream times, but I know on my channel for Other Path, I know it seems to always say I'm offline, even though it says I have been offline since December. We will be figuring my channel out more, but still follow everybody if possible. I hope everything is getting to start showing up on this a little bit better. But I do hope that starts showing up a little bit better.
Yeah, on my stream, I think what the plan is, at least on my end, I'll be doing at least one stream by myself, doing a Total War Warhammer 2 campaign. The latest one I started, what was it, last night? Yeah, I think I started it last night, is a green skinned world domination map, Mortal Empire campaign. The last 30 minutes did not go well. The What else kind of wiped out my armies, but we will come back. We will come back. The green tide is not forgotten. Ground de Ponch will be back. But one stream, I'll have one stream a week, at least to get started, and then we'll figure everything out later on. So follow my channel if you want to see that. I'll also be posting more later on this year on my PlayStation because of the games that are coming out, like Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I don't know if I know that Diablo 2 Enhanced Edition, or Resurrected, excuse me, is coming out, and there's a bunch of games that are coming out that I kind of want to stream. But if you're looking for anybody well versed into the Diablo lore, it would be me. I've been playing that game since 1999. Literally 1999. I was. Yeah. So definitely follow my stream. Yeah, and follow us for more, and we'll see what we have going on behind the scenes to bring you guys. But from all of us here, I want to wish you all a good night and have a pleasant
Keep
weekend.
adventuring.
Huh?
I say keep adventuring.
Oh, keep adventuring and stay warm.
Yeah, definitely. Try to stay out of the rain.
Yeah, stay out of the rain. Stay safe. Have a good night, everybody.